What's going on, everyone? Chris here with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal, and we're kind of doing business errands today, running around and setting up marketing for the next couple of months, but not just marketing in general, but marketing based on what's already worked for me. So I mentioned in my solo video the other day to always know where your jobs are coming from, whether, even if it's just an inquiry, somebody calls and says, hey, I saw your sign, how much is it to get rid of a couch? You tell them your minimum price is blah, blah, blah. They say that's too much and hang up on you. That's okay. You know that they found you through a sign. That means that they picked your sign out in public around everyone else's and decided to call you. They could have easily been a, hey, I need you to come clean out a 3-bedroom house. How much is it going to be? Oh, like $2 to $3 grand. Okay, great. Right? We wish that happened more often, but that's how easy it is to have a yes versus a no. So always know where people are finding out about you and then adjust your marketing based on that. I will say when it's slower, I just do everything because you have the time. But when you're busy, you want to focus on what really yields the most results. So every time I do a job, I record all the information in an Excel sheet and I have a column that says how they heard about me. And I went through this morning and picked out a good chunk of everything. It's a little mixed up because repeats and referrals kind of fall under different categories. So it's a little wonky, but went ahead and filled out everything by broad category. So I have like repeats, referrals, Google, Facebook, Nextdoor, yard signs, senior living facilities, apartment buildings, realtors, storage, and then other, which is a very select few. So for me, Google was my number one source. It always kind of has been. It's always been like 40 to 45% of my jobs. And I don't do like paid ads or Google ads or anything. I just do keywords on my website, and I swap out the keywords every like month or so. I replace them with new pictures, use proper image descriptions. I make sure that all my platforms, I have my website linked. I'm updating everything as often as possible. And in my city, I rank like, I think number 4 or 5, which is pretty good considering the first 3 are paid by 1-800-GOT-JUNK, Junk King, and Call It Chunks. So I rank pretty high in my city for not having to do anything. And then like in the cities around me, like I'm usually like towards the end of the page, but there's a lot of competition going on there. So I'm content with that. So Google is my number one source. My second number one source was repeat clients and referrals. And I think that's just due to like good service. You can't really market for that. After that, there's a tie between senior living facilities, realtors, and Facebook. So those are the 3 main things I would like to continue working on. Something that I didn't have a whole lot of this year that I have in the past is apartment buildings. In my area, Waste Management has really been tackling the bulk situation with apartment buildings. As long as they can get it out to the spot that they can pick it up from, they pick it up for free, which cancels out me as a middleman. So it's kind of tough to do that. And I honestly haven't been focusing a whole lot of time on it. I've been pushing more for realtors or for senior living facilities because those 2 have brought me the most work. And then, of course, yard signs. I don't get a ton of jobs from them, but the jobs I do pay for the signs time and time again. Plus, every time someone takes a picture of a sign and they go to your website, that's just adding to the SEO traffic, which Google likely will push out your website more based on the amount of people that visit your website, or so I've been told. So those are like my number one sources, is repeats, referrals, Google, and then realtors and senior living facilities. Everything else is kind of like just trickled in there. So those are what I'm going to focus on leading into the next couple of months. And then when winter comes, you basically just market everywhere possible. So that's what I like to kind of focus on, and it helps me with time management. And of course, time saves money. So it's a win-win. Right now, we are at Chris Loppy Moving Services, Moving Supplies in Pompano. This is where I pick up my speed packs and my dollies and stuff like that. All right, so we just got back home. Want to go ahead and talk about some of the things I got from the moving supply store, maybe like a little haul video. This is majority of stuff that's going to be used for junk removal. Some of it will be used for like side moves as well, so I'll go ahead and do a little disclaimer for each one. I went there with the intention to get speed packs and maybe a couple of new dollies because mine are getting a little old and beat up and warped, and every now and then it's just good to kind of replace stuff. They didn't have the blacktop ones I had in stock because I was going to grab 2 of those, but I did manage to get one with the gray cap tops, which are the ones I use for the mattress bars. And of course we got like 5 or 6 speed packs. But went ahead and got a couple of other little fun things. First one being a hump strap. Used to use these at the moving companies a lot. These have their perks. They're not very expensive. You can get them on Amazon for like 20 bucks if you don't have a moving supply warehouse near you. Otherwise, it was 17 bucks at the one I went to. This is basically a 4-inch thick burlap strap that can be used mainly for moving purposes. So they can be used for a ton of things. What I and the people I know used them the most for was either strapping medium-sized pieces of furniture to your back, like a nightstand or a wardrobe box, or even like a smaller dresser that's not crazy in weight. You can literally tie this around your like chest, like right here, like a harness, and then strap it to a piece behind you, and you can just kind of hold yourself like this, and you can walk with a nightstand or a small dresser on your back to the truck, and then you just set it down. And you might be thinking like, well, why do that when you can just use a hand truck? Well, depending on what the piece is and how many guys you have running, let's say you're going downstairs, for example, it's easier in most cases, depending on how tight they are, to just walk with something strapped to you versus having to go down each step with a piece, trying not to cause damage. And it can be a little quicker too if you have tight turns. So that could be one of the perks. Or if you just want to speed it up and you don't want to have to sit there and dolly something a long ways, something like a nightstand would be perfect. Another thing I used to do a lot was I would carry a wardrobe box full of clothes on my back and then carry one with my hands in front, so you're tackling two at once. It just saves time a little bit. Another good thing for these is team lifts. So let's say, for example, you're carrying down like a large armoire or a really tall or bulky dresser down a flight of stairs that maybe has like a tight low turn, or maybe it's like a slow like spiral staircase. In most situations, the best thing you could do is stand the piece upright and have two guys carry it down. But let's say, for example, you have maybe a low ceiling, so you can't stand the piece straight up. What you can do is the guy at the top will basically run this around the edges of it and kind of just hold on to the strap itself. And then the guy at the bottom will hold the edge of the dolly, or hold the edge of the furniture. So as you're walking with two people, you have a piece in the middle and you're walking with it upright, but now the guy at the top isn't in a super awkward angle where he's having to like bend over or just barely grip something. I'll try to find a picture online of it being done. But that is something that can come in handy a lot. What I personally like to use it for more than anything though is I will tie one end to the axle of my hand truck, and I'll just lay it down flat and extend it out and put like a bulkier piece on the hand truck, and then I'll pull the strap over the top and hold it where the handle is. So it's kind of like creating like an appliance dolly effect, but you're going vertically instead of horizontally around a piece. And the reason behind that is it just helps a little bit with pulling it back, that it kind of mimics someone on the other side lifting it up for you. So it just kind of helps with getting like a bigger piece back without having to sit there and rock 3 or 4 times, or just something so heavy you can't do it in general. So it's just that extra little bit of help with the leverage. So those are a few of the main ways. I'm sure I'll probably never record like 2 people using it, but I could record me taking out like a nightstand by myself with it on my back, just so you have an idea of what it looks like. Is it something I think junk haulers really need? Probably not, but I've been wanting one more so for the hand truck purpose, and it does help when you have a bulkier piece going downstairs. You don't have to be in that awkward position. So I would practice, if you're going to get one, I would practice with it on first floors just to get the hang of it before you start walking down the stairs with it, because if you are too loose with it, or you pull backwards on it, or yank the rope in the wrong way, it can slip off and that piece is going to smack the staircase, and that could be a problem. What else did we get? We got some rubber bands. You used to use these at moving a lot. They save time and energy and materials versus using like tape or shrink wrap to pad wrap furniture. Now, I personally don't use it for all types of furniture, because at the end of the day, when I move stuff like big heavy dressers, more than likely I'm grabbing the pad itself and not the actual furniture. It just gave me a better grip, gets you in better angles. As long as you have good grip strength, you should be able to do it. And you can't do that with banded furniture because the pad's gonna slide unless you make it really freaking tight, but more than likely you're not. So it's great for like chairs and quick objects that you can just throw on the dolly and wheel out to the truck. but when it comes to stairs, I prefer the tape method. That's just me. Movers, don't get on me. But they come in handy too for junk removal, which is why I got them. So like, let's say instead of always carrying tape with me that runs out and have to go buy more, I can use a band. This is a smaller band. I can use this to wrap up the drawers on a nightstand, for example, if I want to be dolling like multiple of them. We talked about this a while back in a video in a senior living facility. Let's say you have an entertainment center and the doors are hinged. If you stand it up on a dolly to just kind of push it out, the top drawer probably isn't going to go anywhere, but the bottom drawer, if you go over a crack or if you turn too fast or you hit a bump, it may fling down, and if you're not paying attention, you might catch a wall that cause damage. I've seen it happen multiple times. So normally, like, I'll tape off the edges real quick. This is a good alternative, kind of save you money in the long run. And then we got some mattress bags for when I do side jobs. It's a quick upsell. You tell the customer, hey, you know, I have a mattress bag I can put your bed in so it doesn't get dirty during transport. It's $10, and 9 out of 10 times they say yes. So it cost me $4 a bag to get, cheaper than Walmart, thicker quality, better quality. So I'll profit $6-7 each time. And then we actually already have one of these. You've probably seen them in the video, but this is a hand truck cover. They literally hook on the top, and then you have little Velcro straps that run all the way down. The one I have is kind of cheap. It was almost like an impulse purchase. This is like $20 for the better quality one, but it's good for if you're moving without wrapping stuff. You don't have to worry about scratching furniture as much. Or if you see a really nice piece in junk removal, maybe you want to try to resell, but obviously putting it on a hand truck and bringing it out to your truck bare may cause some scratching. That's a good alternative. It can realistically be used like forever until it falls apart. So those are some of the things I got there. But for junk haulers in specific, they have carts, they have speed packs, which you've seen me use multiple times, hand trucks, dollies, appliance dollies, mattress bars, assortment of boxes, bands, tape, shrink wrap. They have more specific moving equipment for like pianos, or if you're moving large amounts of computer supplies. They have like these carts that have like 3 slots that go up that you can put like file boxes on. We used to load them up full of monitors if you're doing like a big junk removal, and you can rent those from them. So they just have a lot of like moving related stuff, and moving and junk removal, same concept, just different care. So a lot of things that they sell you can probably use for yourself. Now obviously if you don't have a moving supply store in your area, you may not be able to find this stuff as freely, but you can usually order stuff online. Uline, like the Uline, is a pretty big website that you can have stuff shipped to you. I'm sure if you just Google moving supplies, you'll find a third-party contractor who sells them. But for the most part, those are your main sources when it comes to moving supplies on a large scheme of things. So hopefully that gave you an idea. The hump strap I'll try to film a video of once in a while, and hopefully those marketing tips help. At the end of the day, for me, I truly believe that knowing your source of jobs is more important than anything else, because you can go out and market to 1,000 places, spend 100 hours doing it, and get realistically 30-40% results, versus focusing on the top 40% of stuff that brings you the most results and put all of your energy into that, and then maybe pulling 50-60% results. So that's my opinion though. But we're gonna go ahead and go through some emails, handle some stuff, and then do some work at the house. So I'll see you guys later on this week.